So this is the 11th year that we've done 3-minute thesis, and really just for the sake of the video that we're recording, that's why I'm just doing this little introduction so we have this. We are recording this, so we have that for your individual playback, so your friends, family, loved ones can watch this, and if you trip and fall, they can see that too. So that's why we're doing this. So the winner, of course, will represent the college at the university event, which will be March 27th. And we're really excited for that. Just a thought I had, we were going to do this in Cleveland 30. Nobody wants to do anything in Cleveland 30, of course. The Spark was unavailable because of the big screen that they had. They're replacing that. And so we looked at venues, and this doesn't have kind of the lights and the fancy stuff like the Spark does. But in thinking about communicating your research, most of the time you're doing that, it's not under the lights. It's not with cameras on. You're going to be communicating to potential donors and other people. And so a lot of it has no fanfare at all. So this is kind of a nice little space. Without further ado, I will introduce our judges and who they are. So Chris Conley is an associate professor of our kinesiology program here in the College of Education. Mia Gleason is from the Carson College of Business. She's an assistant director of digital media and marketing. What is this marketing thing? Of course, you all know Kelly, so if you've crossed her, I guess, in a bad way, she will figure that out. But she's not tied to any one particular program, so there's no conflict of interest. And then the esteemed Richard Zach, who is a professor of entomology. And I especially am grateful for you coming to our college to do this for us today. Okay, now so the judges know, and I want to make sure that this is clear on the form in the order. So by and large, they're listed in the right order, but number 1 is Hassan Alware. We've got Rose Malecki. Ali Assiri is 3rd. Then Stephanie Mahar is 4th. We got Estephanie Lopez Contreras is 5th. And then Mazen Alyawi is close enough, right? Okay. So without further ado, we'll turn the time to Hassan. And you have that, okay.
Hi, everyone. Do you know learning disabilities, also called hidden disabilities? But why? Because it's like easily to misidentify. So to do so, we need an accurate method, accurate tools that help us to identify the students with learning disabilities correctly and accurately. But you know, the problem is in Saudi Arabia, they still use inaccurate tools, accurate methods to identify the students with learning disabilities. So in a way to solve this problem, we could use the multi-tier system of support. So this model could be like an alternative method to be used to identify the students with learning disabilities correctly and accurately. But what's the MTSS? So MTSS is an early identification and also providing intervention for students and also providing progress monitoring to help the students to improve their skills. To explore this more, I interviewed 12 instructional coaches of learning disabilities who work directly with the teachers to identify the students with learning disabilities. So this interviews aims to explore 2 things. First one, to explore the effectiveness of the current method to identify the students with learning disabilities, and also getting their perspective to implement the MTSS in Saudi schools. So I found 2 main results. So first one, they showed concerns about the effectiveness and the accuracy of the current method to identify the students with learning disabilities. And also they showed a positive perspectives to implement the MTSS in Saudi schools. So I conclude this one that instructional coaches and teachers are willing to implement the MTSS in the Saudi schools, but we should be aware of some challenges, such as the time and effort, and also MTSS need additional resources and need also educating how to teach the teachers to implement the MTSS in Saudi schools. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. Kelly, at what point did you see that? Yeah. So about a minute into it, it just looked like it stopped.
Right.
So give me one moment. I'm just running it down a minute.
Is there a clock app in there, like in the apps?
You can just search it, maybe.
There's an app. We can just use it.
Yeah, he didn't go over 3 minutes. I just didn't know if it made him worried and like start to, you know.
I'm gonna repeat it.
Oh,
Just kidding. You have it. That's it.
okay, we're at 2:07. I just want to see if, and I will put it on my phone as well here. Of course, I'm all thumbs, so I might have hit it twice. Who knows? Okay, we'll give it a shot again. Okay, our next, and I want to point out that Hassan is in our special education program. And one thing that we notice is things are very cyclical. I know Kelly will say that that is true as our graduate director. And Amy Roth-McDuffie knows this for sure, that year after year we have programs that have a lot of students. We've had math and science education has had quite a few the last few years. And then just by the way the programs work, this year we have a lot of language, literacy, and technology students. So 5 of our 6 are LLT, and our one outlier is Hassan in special education. So, way to be different. Okay, so without further ado, then we'll move to Ali Assiri.
To me.
Oh, Rose, sorry, Rose Malecki.
Is it okay?
Yes, please.
Yes, sure.
Okay, I'm going to do both this and this. So I'll start this when you...
Yep.
Oh, do you have the mic? Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Go ahead.
Okay. We live in a gender world in which names, colors, and gender expectations have been labeled as pink or blue. Gender is among the first things that we pay attention to and we identify ourselves with. And as a social construct, it can be very important. It can dictate us how we talk and walk and how, what job expectations we can have for the future. Something that feminism fought for was bringing awareness to how limiting and oppressing these expectations can be, and how these social constructs should be paid attention so that we can make sure people are not stopped from achieving their potential simply because how they identify themselves. One outcome of this movement for educational setting was that the textbooks that were used in different contexts were examined and investigated to see how these different roles or stereotypes that had roots in patriarchy were shown in them. For example, they could find that more frequent high-class jobs such as doctors was for male, and women, for example, were pictured as being a nurse, or only women were pictured as doing the house chores. So the result of all this fighting was that bringing awareness to the institutions to be aware of the checklist that they need to take care of when they choose textbooks. Something that can be taken care of is gender representation in textbooks. And although we have faculty that spend time on choosing the books and they have things listed such as price, readability, content, even diversity, we still cannot see gender representation as we expected to see, simply because we modern people may think that at a point in the history, feminism appeared, it solved all the problems, and now we have no problem with gender equality anymore. So what I'm doing is comparing two academic English textbooks. One chosen by the faculty with having gender representation in the criteria, with that awareness, and the one without that awareness in the criteria to see if we see differences in how gender is represented both in the text and in the images. And I will be using two critical discourse analysis frameworks using linguistic system and visual analysis to see what the results show. This study can help raise awareness about what we need to enable faculty look at the books from that point of view to see gender biases. Thank you.
Oh, these are mine. Okay. All right, now, Ali, it's your turn.
Just trying to place it right here. I have my own timer.
Okay, yep.
All right. So, hi everyone. So, I planned for like larger group, but raise your hand if you know how many new technologies came out last year. It's really hard. You know why? Because every month, if not every day, we would have a massive number of new technologies coming out and introduced to us. And for teachers, it's just one more reason to fail behind. Because basically, they cannot learn all new technology and how to use them. And here's the problem. So when it comes to teaching teachers how to use technology in classrooms, we rely on more like on the technology itself. So we basically giving them the fish instead of teaching them how to fish. But here's where my research comes in. So my research is proposing to shift the focus to be more on how teachers learn. And based on current literature and in my research, I identified 4 basic guidelines that could be used in any teacher education. And I want you to count with me because this is what I want you to learn today. Number 1, to connect what teachers are learning to their classrooms so it's more relevant to them. Number 2, instead of sit and listen, no, we encourage them to be active, physically and mentally active with the content they are learning. Number 3, to show them, to give them examples, how it's being done. Number 4, to make their learning ongoing so they can retain information after a while. And in my research, I did a case study to explore the perception of more than 43 teachers in the College of Education with 2 research questions. The first one was, what was their perception of having these 4 guidelines in their learning? Number 2, how these 4 guidelines impacted their learning. And the key results are so promising. So these teachers perceived having these guidelines to be effective because it provides them authentic learning, active learning, and modeling. Who would say no to examples, right? And when it came to how these guidelines impacted their learning, they say it was positively impactful because they were in the learning process while learning. And they could work with each other and interact with each other so they can exchange information. And if you're like someone I know, you would say, so what, Ali? Well, to answer that question and to conclude, my research is contributing to the shift from technology to how teachers learn as one step toward empowering teachers to use technology to the best of their abilities. Thank you.
Okay. Reset. Okay. Thank you. And our next one is Stephanie Mahar, who's just going to get the microphone on first. Perfect.
Okay.
All right. And I'll just start this, Stephanie, after you start. Oh, yep. Thank you. Thanks, Kelly. Perfect.
Could everyone please close their eyes? Breathe and focus your mind on the future. Now, imagine you can't do that. Open your eyes. That's just one small aspect of anxiety. And anxiety is a very human response to a potential threat. It can save your life or prepare you for the future, but it can also interfere with daily life. Here's an example. On my first day of kindergarten, I was late, and I was told to sit next to a boy I thought was particularly cute. However, I never sat next to him. As I entered the classroom, breathing became difficult, and my chest felt tight. The room was dark, and I froze. I asked to sit in the back of the class. Later that day, I sat alone at lunch, far from my classmates, outside an empty classroom. Anxiety is sometimes mistaken for shyness, or we call it having butterflies in your stomach. These are examples of societal views we've accepted about some forms of anxiety, and they can sometimes make young people avoid seeking help even when they really need it, because anxiety and help seeking have been treated as something different, other, or even bad. It's something you don't want to be labeled with, but it affects so much that when it goes ignored, it can greatly impact things like learning and life outcomes. Teenage girls have experienced some of the highest increases in anxiety symptoms since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. So how do we help? I want to start by analyzing graphic novels portraying teenage girls with anxiety to see what we have available and how they are represented. I'm taking the stance that we can help teenage girls by learning about graphic novels that portray similar experiences they may be going through and helping them access these reading materials so they can see they are not as alone as they might feel.
Thank you, Stephanie. And now Estephanie. There's a lot of LLT students. Way to represent. It might go right on there, yeah.
Can I wear it here?
Yeah.
My outfit is not microphone.
It's not microphone friendly.
Maybe you didn't tell me.
And I'll just start that when you start.
Okay. So, hello everyone. I hope you like Star Wars because I will use it to explain what my research will be about. So, in a galaxy far, far away, we have this imperative of understanding and implementing frameworks such as UDL and WIDA to support multilingual learners. Now, because they are a growing population in everyday classrooms, teacher candidates' readiness to implement these frameworks becomes very important nowadays. It's pretty much like the Rebel Alliance preparing before a battle with the Empire. So this is a study that I called Legends in the Making. It will be like the new saga, for that matter. Explores the journey of Jedi apprentices, also known as teacher candidates, who embark on a quest to unlock the mysteries of the effective implementation of WIDA and UDL frameworks. Just like the Rebel Alliance gathering intelligence from different star systems, I follow 4 Padawans throughout the galaxy, or the state of Washington, and how they try to harness the power of the Force, which in this case is UDL and WIDA. And so the study explores how these young heroes, these are the heroes over here, implement WIDA and UDL to support multilingual learners' English language development and content learning. Now, searching the weaknesses of the Death Star, which is known as non-inclusive education, the findings reveal 3 main things. The first one is that teacher candidates often find themselves seeking for advice from their Jedi masters. However, inadequate mentoring can tend them to move to the dark side of the Force, or non-inclusive education, right? Second, similar to traveling at light speed, sometimes teacher candidates have difficulty in implementing WIDA and UDL and other things in the classroom because it is very fast-paced. Just imagine the Millennium Falcon, trying to avoid all of these asteroids and all of the other things, trying to make it as they jump into hyperspace to get to another planet or another galaxy. And third, the knowledge gaps about these frameworks and their implementation function as asteroids in that matter. And these asteroids can sometimes make it difficult into the path of progress. And so teacher candidates need to navigate all of the complexities of how to support multilingual learners. Just as every great saga, there is moments for growth and reflection. And with this study, I explore the perceptions that teacher candidates have when they are implementing these and how we can better support them to help them implement these frameworks and resist the temptation to join the dark side of the force. So thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Estephanie.
Mazen.
This might be one movie that's better than the trailer, actually, even.
You never know.
All right, Mazen.
Hello, everyone. Learning a new language opens a whole new world. And teaching it, well, that's where the magic happens. Let me ask you a question. On average, how much does a student speak in 1 hour class? Here's a surprising fact. On average, a student might only speak for 27 seconds. That's hardly enough to unlock the wonders of learning a new language. That means teachers speak 70 to 80% of the whole class. Now, imagine being a teacher and wondering, am I doing the right thing? I mean, teacher needs feedback, needs reflective teaching to know how to improve themselves. Traditionally, we might ask a colleague, right, to observe from the corner of the class. And we think, oh, are they going to judge us? Or are they going to give us the feedback that we need? Now, what if there was something less intimidating, more supportive? Here where my research comes in. I'm exploring whether artificial intelligence can be that non-judgmental guide for teachers. The AI will give insights about teacher-student talk ratio, word cloud for the vocabulary, and student engagement, and many features. I'll be giving the teachers this AI tool, train them, and the AI tools will listen, not to judge, but to nudge, and give some insights to make little tweaks to make the good lesson even better and boost student engagement. We are looking at how their classroom transfer from quiet spaces where teachers do most of the talking to a lively hub where everyone's voice is heard, engaged, and participated. So I'll be giving the teacher this tool, and then my big question for the research, will it actually make a difference? So I'm looking at the teachers' voices, not about data stuff, it's about their experiences, because their experiences matter for us. The result of this study is promising, because this is the first study to do that. It matters for us because it goes beyond English language classes, for any subject. And it's about tapping the potential of every teacher and every student. And with a little nudge from AI, we are just scratching the surface of what's possible. Maybe a floatable device can give an instant feedback. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all 6 of our competitors, and I agree with Kelly that you're all winners for being here. And yeah, one more round of applause. Thank you to those who came to support. I think that's amazing. I'm giving the judges, I'll just talk for a minute while the judges can compile some scores. In one class that I teach, I tell my students all the time, it doesn't always, like your nerves are still there, right? When they go on air to do their broadcast, they may still be there, but it does get easier. And so even if you feel like, I didn't do as best as I can, you know, it's a good practice to go through. It's a winnowing practice, and so I congratulate you for being vulnerable and getting out there and doing it. So well done. Okay, and then I'll collect these from the judges, and then Amy and I will go and compile some scores. That's all right. I'll come back. I'll come back to you, Kelly. Okay, we've got results. They're not from a galaxy far, far away. They're right here. Just a reminder that the third place. Oh, I better get this right, or our dean will kill me here. Third place will get $500. Second place gets $750, and the first place gets $1,000 and represents the college at the university event. And the college, as is a normal practice, we we make sure for international students, we actually make that a little higher so when the tax comes out that it's still even. So just so you know that. It's an unfair tax, right? Okay, without further ado, our third place this year for 3-minute thesis, College of Ed, is Rose Malecki. Also, I will let you know that the notes will redact the names of the judges, but if you would like your notes so that you can see and improve for next time or whatever you present, those will be made available. Our second place also then would be the one to compete if the first place cannot, is Estephanie Lopez Contreras. And our winner for 2024 3-minute thesis for the College of Education is Ali Assiri. So congratulations. We'll get some pictures as soon as we're done, but this concludes 3-minute thesis, and thank you so much to the judges for giving of your time. We really appreciate that.